Omnipotence is defined as having great or unlimited power. Villains and other character archetypes in media strive for this power. They want to control and rule over the people. In Star Wars, Palpatine controlled both sides of the Clone Wars just so he could kill the Jedi Order and rule the galaxy, which he did for about 20 years or so. Characters like these are cool and interesting to watch as they rule over the territory then crumble as the hero swoops in to save the day. But it's also a bit boring. The endgame is to win and rule, and then what? It'll obviously be boring to the audience if that character kept winning, but I think there's one person I really think that stands out above the rest. The G-Man has probably been one of the greatest mysteries in the gaming community. No one knows who he is, if he's actually a man or what his intentions are. Everything about him is off. In this oppressive world of Half-Life 2 where the Combine rule over Earth and the citizens are dehumanized, the G-Man has always been a boogeyman-like figure in the Half-Life games, watching over Gordon as he takes down the Combine forces on Earth. We first meet the G-Man after we kill the Nylon from the border world of Zen. He comes off as his government agent on behalf of the government. He relieves us of our weapons and during his monologue he teleports us around. He also talks about his quote-unquote employers, but doesn't elaborate on who they are. This just showing the small things of what he can do to us. Eventually he teleports us back to a Black Mesa tram in a void where he offers us a job. We can step into the portal, work for him, or not accept the job, and he teleports us back to Zen where we die. In the second game it opens up with Gordon in the same black void. The G-Man tells us to wake up. He talks about how one man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world, and throws us into City 17. He appears again at the end of the base game as Gordon and Alex blows up the Citadel. Everything freezes and the G-Man appears. He uses his powers to take us back into the void where he leaves us. He'd have two more appearances at the start of episode 1 after the base game. The Vortigaunts come and rescue us from him. Then in episode 2 he has another long monologue. The G-Man's presence in these games is very creepy. He's always in the background in both games. We actually find him in the distance watching us, hoping everything goes off with his plans, which they do. Maybe it's his suit or his mere presence alone, everything just feels off. The main thing is the way he speaks and his mannerisms. He breathes loud and stresses parts of words he wouldn't normally stress. He breathes in between words, and even when he speaks he gasps for air. Words like limitless, he stretches out that last part, and when he says difference in the opening monologue, he also separates them to two separate words. The G-Man's monologues are probably some of the best in Valve's games. He speaks in riddles, and though he has this odd, calm and polite tone, it's quite threatening. At the end of the first Half-Life he says, "Rather than offer the illusion of free choice, I've taken the liberty of choosing for you." He's polite, never shouting, but his words are what in a way control us. We work for him or he kills us. Everything about him is just off, and I think that's what makes him so creepy. By the way he looks, he's got that clean blue suit and haircut. The sharp facial structure and those glowing eyes, it all adds up and makes him somewhat scary. Funnily enough, he doesn't have a name. The G-Man isn't his name. It was a name people found in the game's code. In University doesn't have one. People acknowledge him, but no one refers to him by a name, and I think that's what makes him so interesting, is that he's just there. My second reason as to why he's a great villain links with what I said at the start. Characters strive to be powerful and to control with an iron fist. But the G-Man, he doesn't do all that much. He can teleport us, freeze time, take us into weird black voids, lock us away, probably do other things which you can't comprehend of, like manipulating reality, but he won't. In his monologues to Gordon and Alex he talks about his quote-unquote employers. He never tells us who or what they are. But for what we know, he works for them, like a broker between clients or a spokesperson for their group. Whatever they are makes the G-Man all this much scarier. He could be more powerful than them, but works for them because of the respect they give to each other, or his employers could be even more powerful than the G-Man could ever be. We simply don't know. All we know is that he's an enemy of the Combine, as he's imprisoned in Half-Life Alyx, and he's not allies of humanity. He's his own party on behalf of his mysterious employers, though we know he's got one set of enemies, that being the Vortigaunts who hold him off in the start of episode 1. For the 20th anniversary of Half-Life 2, Valve released a video of the voice actor of the G-Man, Mike Shapiro, who also voices Barney Calhoun. The insight it gives to us on the G-Man is very interesting. Mike says how the G-Man has this relationship with time. He can be in more than one place at once, and because of that the G-Man has this hitch and these weird mannerisms with the way he speaks. Mike also states how he could experience many moments in time at the same time, and I think that's the most interesting part of the G-Man. We've never really had any explanations about him, and Mike's insights and opinions into the character make him that more mysterious. His connection with time is prominent at the end of the base game for Half-Life 2 where he's able to freeze time.
Early on, I had a sense that G-Man knew a lot and was taking care of a lot that we didn't quite understand, was kind of enjoying fucking with people and massaging reality in a way that he had a unique capacity to do. There were also aspects to him that I knew pretty early on, like his relationship to time is very different than you or I would think. In my mind, he could literally be in two places at once, and so sometimes there was a kind of an implied hitch in his timing, or he's experiencing 2 or 3 different moments at once, and that might be funny, for a reason that you don't know because you're only in one time with him at a moment.
The lack of insight into his character make him a well-written one. We don't know what side he's on or his intentions. He always talks of his employees and doing things to appease them. In the VR game Half-Life Alyx, we're sent on a mission to a prison to find Gordon, but instead we find the G-Man, a piece of an apartment locked in a combined cell. By his body language we can tell he has it planned out from the beginning. When Alyx breaks open the cell, we find him standing looking out the window, his hands behind his back. He knew we'd come to the prison thinking we're rescuing the Freeman. He calmly grabs his briefcase and uses his powers to take us out of reality. He gives this cool and lengthy speech convincing Alyx to work for him. Again, he talks of his employers. He talks to Alyx about nudging things in a particular direction. He asks Alyx, and Alyx says to get rid of the Combine off Earth. Though he backs out, he says that this nudge is too large due to the interest of his employers. This probably tells us he has the power to stop the Combine, but he won't. It's almost as if he's a chess master. He moves people around just slightly so catastrophic events occur. Throwing Freeman into City 17 is what allowed for the rebels and all of humanity to rise up and fight. And with the end of Half-Life 2 changing due to the end of Half-Life Alyx, we can only speculate. Again, going back to the start, villains strive for power and control, as I've said. He has the power to change, but he won't due to his employer's interests. We don't know his endgame or his employer's endgame. I used to assume that he wanted to fight the Combine, but with all this power and leeway given by his employers, maybe that's not what he wants. With the ending of Half-Life Alyx, Valve has shown that he has the ability to change timelines. Originally, at the end of Episode 2, Eli Vance dies, but with this new ending in Half-Life Alyx, Alyx is taken away and Eli is left alive. So what do I think? Well, I hope Valve doesn't explain who he is or who his employers are. The best thing about the G-Man is the mystery of not knowing. If Valve tells us everything about the G-Man, he won't be scary. We won't fear him as much as we would have if we didn't know. I don't think he's human. The way he speaks to us maybe tells us he's an alien in human form trying to imitate us and how we speak. The G-Man reminds me of the real-life Men in Black, supposed government agents that appeared to people that witness UFOs. They wear clean black suits and fedoras, they have no names, and according to some they are pale, abnormally torn, and have a very hostile but polite tone. We can see how maybe the G-Man was inspired by them. Of course I'm not saying the Men in Black are real, but we can see the inspirations with how they dress and how they act. But going back to my main point, I think it's best we never know.